Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back to Breakdown Theory episode 3. We are honored by none less than Jake, aka Waffledragon34, one of the best Twitch streamers in my opinion of all time. Jake, how's it going?
You're too kind. You're too kind. I'm doing amazing. It is New Year's It is New Year's Day, and I am loving it right now. I'm currently off for a little bit. I had a little break from stream, had a little break from everything, and I'm just doing great, man. How about you?
Doing good. It's 2023 and there's a lot of things happening, but I know for you, and what I'd like to do for this one is like get to your new schedule, because a lot of people have been watching you for a while and you have a new schedule coming up. And we'll talk about that in a second. So for those of you who don't know, Jake here is a Twitch streamer. That's twitch.tv/Waffledragon34. I'll put all the links down below so you can check him out. And he's also recently gone into the YouTube game, so he's doing that. Check him out. Again, I'll put all that below. But going back to Twitch, this is where you can see this man perform amazing skills live and also do song requests as well. And it's always just a great time. And I'll talk a little bit on how I actually found Jake. And it's been 2 years. 2 years. Like, man, time flies.
It does not feel real, man. I don't know how. It's going on. This is my 3rd year of streaming at this rate, and
man.
I don't know how. I'm going to wake up one day, it's 2020, I'll be like, all right, time to just sit at home and continue working.
Yeah. So that's for those of you who don't know, that's the intro for him and kind of what he does. And we're going to get more to that. All right. But for those who don't know, and I guess some of the questions that I've also had, it's kind of like, where did it all start for you? Was it something that you grew up around music the entire time, or did you like start getting interested in music in a later age? And then of all instruments, guitar.
So I got a pretty kind of weird, not weird upbringing with music. I come from a family of musicians, like going as far back as we found. I think it was my great grandfather was actually an opera singer back in Italy.
Really?
And then yeah, we found this out one day. We're just like, whoa, okay. I don't remember his name. It's some like lineage thing, but those skills kind of keep transferring throughout like our generations. My grandfather was like a big band conductor back in like the 40s and 50s. My father was one of the drummers he trained. My uncle is an amazing multi woodwind instrumentalist. And then I got the musical genes, luckily. So I started with music in my elementary school band. I was playing clarinet, and I did that from grade 4 to grade 11.
What?
Yeah, before I did guitar or anything else, I was playing the black, the clarinet, and it was insane. Then I kind of like, clarinet's not a very like fun or cool instrument to break at parties or anything. I suppose I was going to parties back then, but
yeah, those old time sleepovers.
Yeah, you bust out the clarinet, drop some giant steps, a little bit of that. Invictus by James Swearington, great tracks. Someone please chart that, by the way, on RocmSmith. I want to play some Invictus on RocmSmith one day.
That'd be amazing.
Dude, it's a great. So my around that time was like the Guitar Hero era, where like everyone was playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band and everything. So one of my friends, as like a Christmas gift, him and his brother got like a bass and a guitar, because the parents were like trying to push them into like, oh, you're playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band, why don't you guys try like the real thing, like the South Park episode where Randy's like, but I could play this on real guitar. So I was just at their house and I'm like, you know what, I like Guitar Hero, let me try this out. And tried it out. Also, this is this event here was in I think like sorry, when I was graduating middle school, this all happened. So this is like 8th grade for us people in the US, which I forget the age range for that. Maybe it's like 14. I think 14. Yeah. So I picked up the guitar. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll go for this. And luckily, there's been a guitar that kind of like has been passed around my family for long enough. It's like an old acoustic, Epiphone acoustic. Okay. I have it in the other room, which is funny considering all of my entire collection is here.
Yeah.
The one guitar I should have brought in here, I didn't.
It's all
But
right.
yeah, my older brother gave it back to me. I started learning, and then it's been 15 years since then, and here we are now.
Oh my goodness. So with the clarinet, was that the instrument that you chose, or was that kind of like more of like a school or your parents like kind of suggesting it? Like, of all the instruments, like how that one stick out to you?
So it didn't. The way it works in like New York elementary school is they like once you get into the music programs in like the fourth grade, they basically put all the kids in a room and say, okay, we're just gonna have you like play the instrument, and if you like look cool, if you like the way it is, then you'll be playing that. But they do it by seed, so they give you like a number, and like all the kids with like the low numbers would just go to
Hmm.
like drums or sax or like trumpet, and I think I was the second to last number, so I had slim pickings. By the end, it was like I think I had like one clarinet and like a trombone, and I'm not a very tall person, and as a child, I was even shorter. So the band teacher looks at me and just goes, "Yeah, I don't think you can hold the other thing, so you're gonna be a clarinetist." Like, all right.
And it just stuck. You didn't. Was there like a time where you're like, man, I don't want to do this, or was it that you just like, how did you stick with it for so long?
I think the thing was like I was very like I guess obedient is the right word. So like I picked it up and like I was good at it. So I just kept going. Like I never really like was like, oh, I can't wait to go to band and play Green Day on clarinet. This would be awesome. It
Mm.
was more just like, I mean, I'm good at this. I'll just keep going. I don't know. And then by the time you're in like late high school, it's like, okay, I have this other thing I'm good at now, and I'm only doing this because I've been doing it for X amount of years. I think it's time
Hmm.
to finally get away from this thing and go do the thing I love. So at the behest of the band teacher I was really good friends with, I told her like, hey, listen, I'm not doing band next year. I'm gonna be doing like the begin. Wait, I was supposed to do the like advanced guitar class in high
Okay.
school,
Hmm.
but because it's like the part of music program at high school. But what happened was, unfortunately, is they got rid of the advanced one, but they didn't change my schedule. So they put me in
Ooh.
beginner guitar, even though I've been playing guitar for like 5 years.
Hmm.
But it kind of helped because that taught me Audacity, which was like a
Hmm.
great gateway drug into like recording.
Hmm.
Um, so it wasn't a total loss. The band teacher was kind of upset because I was like one of the first chairs, and I
Oh
was like the one who
man.
actually did stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then from there on, I haven't touched the clarinet since, and I mean, I think I've made the right decision, as we could tell.
Yeah. It's oh man, guitars are something else. So at what at what age did you switch from clarinet to guitar then? And
So,
on that, was it an easy transition for you as well?
oh, without a doubt. I'd already been playing like guitar while I was also playing clarinet.
Hmm. Oh,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, so, like, I was playing clarinet from, like, 4th grade to, like, 12th grade, and
Hmm.
I picked up the guitar at the end of, like, 8th grade. Like, I got my
Ah.
first guitar, my first electric, I got the Les Paul,
Hmm.
when I graduated middle school.
Okay.
So I'd already kinda had, a good amount of education in it. I knew music through clarinet, and I knew, like, guitar through guitar lessons, everything. Um, so when I finally made the switch, it was like, I mentioned my last year of high school. Am I ever gonna play clarinet in college? Which the answer was definitely no. So it wasn't a hard thing to just be like, "All right, you know what? I've gotten all I could out of this instrument, and I think it's time to move on to something I'm gonna really fall in love with and enjoy."
Hmm.
Which, luckily enough, is something that I love and enjoy, and I've now turned into like a little side hustle and something
Oh
I've
yeah.
been able to do and just have fun with.
So as you're going through this phase, like, was there any style that you kind of gravitated towards too with playing the clarinet and the guitar, or were they kind of like two different styles? Because from what I'm hearing is like you were definitely heavily involved in music theory, and with that, like, did you gravitate towards one style with the clarinet versus the guitar, or did you kind of start merging both of them and seeing how they related?
That's actually a really good question. God damn. Um, kind of, because what's nice about the clarinet is a lot of the music you're playing is very classical
Hmm.
and very. I don't want to sound horrible here, but like it's music that's, like, meant for more than just, like, the typical guitar song is, like, written for, like, typical. And again, I'm this is just very face level, I'm not saying, like, guitar music is basic, but,
Hmm.
like, typical like rock and metal is written for 2 to 3 guitarists, a vocalist, a bass player, and a drummer, and then maybe like synths and things on the side. But for clarinet music that involves clarinets, typically it's a full orchestra, full band. So you've got a
Mm.
horn section, a woodwind section, a full percussion with everything you'd have. So it gives you this extra sort of ideology when you're approaching those songs. And while it's kind of harder to approach that on the guitar side, it definitely gave me some ideas. Like a lot of especially at that time, neoclassical was really popping off,
Oh,
and like
yeah, I
guitarists were
bet.
yeah. I mean, you remember
Mhm.
YouTube back in like 2005 and six, where like
Mhm.
canon rock was the thing everyone knew and everyone loved. So it kind of helped like that transition a bit because I saw all these guitarists playing neoclassical. I'm like, oh, I was playing Mars in band last week, so maybe I should try and learn Mars guitar and see how that sounds. And then I didn't do that because I was just playing video game covers. That's what really like I kind of in terms of my guitar playing, there's like phases.
Mhm.
The one thing that got me really, I'm not sure I'm jumping ahead here for the questioning,
Oh, no, you're
but
good.
okay. The one thing that really got me in was two guitarists specifically were
Mhm.
Randy Rhoads and Steve Clark of Def Leppard. I
Okay.
thought those guys were just impossible guitarists, and they're just absolutely insane human beings.
Yes.
So they kind of got me in the door. But then as I like learned how to play guitar and learned things were going, maybe like a year or two afterwards, that's when YouTube was really popping off with like video game covers of like video game metal covers. Like Family
Right.
Jewels is still to this day one of the biggest influences. And I don't know, I've always been a fan of video game music, and it's just cool that like I was like, oh wait, I could play. I have guitar, and I have all these tabs that are on like game tabs and like Songster. Let me just sit here and learn like video game tracks, and video game tracks and guitar are not easy because they're not meant for it.
Oh,
So it really
yeah.
builds this like it builds up your skills, and then, honestly, I attribute a lot of my good lead playing to that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm one I've struggled with lead playing for a long time, and I think it's just due to the fact that I don't really practice that much. But I also got really fat fingers, so it makes it really hard for me to hit that upper register. So you're you're going through this in your about, I guess, like graduating high school and stuff like that. Because you still in college, or are you done with college?
Oh, I've been out of college for like 6 years now.
Okay. Because I know that you were talking about like a class, so you're working on, I guess, something else at the same time.
Yeah, so I was doing my master's for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm currently working towards my professional engineering license. So it's like the last thing you need to get before you become like a full-fledged like engineer. You could sign off on drawings and like
Mm,
have designs to your name. It's something you work like it technically 5 years in the field, but
mm-hmm.
realistically it's longer.
Okay.
And I'm finally at the point in my field where I have to sit down and take this test, which I've taken twice and failed twice. But hey, we can get about that right
So,
now.
so you mentioned again video game playing, because that's one of the things that, like, again, it's kind of like a little niche area that I consider in the guitar. And again, this is just from my perspective, but at the same time, it's still phenomenal. A lot of people, they're trying to hit those heavy breakdowns, those super low tunings, and then when you listen to a lot of the video game music, and even, I guess, like what we would consider like K-pop, there's so much like in my mind, it's like kind of like flair slash color to their arrangements, and it's not easy by no stretch of the means. And so with that, like, because one things I know is that you stream more than just guitar. You also do Pokemon, and you were doing a few other games at the same time as well. Like I think that, like, also with like the video game soundtracks and stuff like that, like a lot of it's very reminiscent of 80s and stuff like that. And how you mentioned Randy Rhoads, like his playing was phenomenal. And I think that a lot of the video games, and even I would say some of the anime theme songs that we hear a lot of times, draws that inspiration from that music.
I'd say so. I mean, there's definitely it's kind of the I forget whose quote is it. I think it's Einstein is I stand on the shoulders of giants, and especially with newer and more budding industries and or genres of music,
Hmm.
you see a lot of the older styles being brought into the modernity. I mean, one of the big things is, or one of the most interesting parts of the VGM scene with video game music, that's happened in the last couple of years is John Petrucci,
Yes.
Dream Theater, all that
Hmm.
was actually part of a Family Jewels cover where he did the Super Mario theme. And then Jason Richardson, who was heavily inspired by Petrucci,
Oh yeah.
did Fairy Fountain a year later.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're seeing the people who have the influences from these, no, I'm not saying those aren't very older examples, but
Mm-hmm.
they bring that sort of vibe into these new genres and it creates something glorious. I mean, I've been to, are you familiar with MagFest at all? Like
I think
MAG
I've
Fest?
heard of it. Mm-hmm.
It stands for the Music and Gaming Festival. It happens every year in Maryland and a couple of the spots too. There's like smaller ones. I went one year and it's wild to see how people have taken what is originally compositions that only use 8 notes because the NES sound card can only have 8 notes in their octaves,
Oh,
and
didn't
they've
know that.
somehow, yeah. Oh no, the original sound cards. I think it's 8 notes. Don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ever they had a very limited soundstage to work with. That's why like the percussion for all the old like NES era stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's all those basically just like noise that they used as like percussion. It's insane. Um, they took that, and you've got people who do it in jazz. They do it in swing. They do it in metal. I've seen. I mean, there's so many. I can name thousands of bands right now that are doing the video game scene wild, and it's so cool to see.
Yeah.
So with that, taking that older style and bring it in.
Yeah. Like, so you got to meet Power Glove recently. How was
Big icon
that?
for me. I to give you context, Power Glove was one of the first VGM bands that like blew my mind. And the fact that like they were speed metal doing like Tetris and all this.
Mm-hmm.
So I I've listened to him for years. I was literally biking to my first job, listening to Power Glove. And then I got to meet them
Wow.
through everything that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be fine. Come on, listen. I'm a streamer. I'm used to like, hanging out with people and like talking to people. And then I show up and I'm like, oh my god, this is a band that like has shaped me playing how I am. And I was the most it took me like 3 hours before I'm like,
Oh
did this just happen? Like,
yeah.
I'm here. And I was like barely able to speak. Oh my god, I feel so bad. Basil or anyone from Power, if you're watching, I love you guys. I'm gonna be better next time, I promise. Like I got dinner with them, and it's like I'm like getting in
Yeah.
conversations. I'm like, wait, fuck. Like every now and again, I'm like, oh my god, is this happening? Um, but yeah, it was just like one of the coolest experiences. I'll be real. It was one of the greatest things that's ever happened. And it was just so cool that like, I've worked on the stream for this many years, and I've worked to like make this thing as good as it can. And now like it's almost like it's just cool that I've gotten to the point where I can like, meet these people and like hang out with them. They know my name a little bit. The other person I got to meet this year, and I said a Twitter post about this, is I got to meet Scott Carstairs of Fallujah, who
For
another
real.
big homie
Yeah.
on Twitch. And I was talking a little bit. We got to take a picture of the band, and the vocalist goes, "Wait, you're that Waffle Dragon guy, right?" And in that moment, the photo looks awkward.
Uh-huh.
The photo, you can see me being like, that's because he had just told me that, and my mind was blown that this dude who's on tour is like, wait, you're that Waffle, right? I'm like, yeah, that guy on Twitch. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. It's so awesome to meet musicians these days that they're very down to earth. That whole I think that the old like rock style mindset is kind of like finally dying off, and a lot of these people are like, no, we're just we're musicians. We love music and we love what you do. Not one person can do it all, but it's awesome that we're seeing that effect. I can say like when I met Agafish and Fluff, like my mind was just blown. Like these were people that I grew up pretty much watching, learning so much about like music, guitar, equipment, all that through their channels, and I got to meet them just for like a little bit, but because I had to go. But it was like that's definitely one of the highlights of 2022 for me for sure.
Well, let me agree with this then, because this is kind of I've been thinking about this a lot, and let me know if you agree here. I kind of attribute to that, like, back in the day, like, if you were a big band in the 80s because you had like a promotion team that can get
Hmm.
you going there, and like you had like the stadium shows you were selling out. But nowadays, it's mostly on you to do a lot of that marketing. So you have to kind of be more personal. You have to be someone who can like, you could run into a bar and you can, have a conversation with them for a little bit. And,
Hmm.
like, you know what I mean? Like before then, it's like if you ran into Slash at a bar, it's like, oh, he's probably gonna take a picture with you, but then he's gonna run away in a second. Like you hear
Yeah.
all those like celebrity horror stories. But I feel like now if you do that, like your name would get kind of like not tainted, but like people would know like, okay, this person may not be what they show on the camera.
Yeah, with that, I think that a lot of it's also just the image per se that they were trying to portray back then, and especially with like information. So I think with that, and also I think that like word of mouth is still one of the most strongest forms of advertisement, and with people having access to quick information, like it takes nothing at all for one person to write something negative about you, and it just catches on fire because people are drawn to negativity, and I mean I stay away from it as much as possible because I don't care for drama. But yeah, I think that with that, and I think it's also like just people just being more authentic, with your art and your craft. Kind of like with you, it's the thing that I definitely love about your channel is that one, it's definitely authentic, but two, it's always a good time.
Mhm.
Your love for like the classic games like Sonic, Pokemon, things that people like, oh, that's kid stuff. But at the same time, it's like that's some of the stuff that made us who we are today and gave us some of the greatest times. And again, like how you mentioned earlier, some of the greatest music. And you just take all that and you always make it such a good time on your channel.
Man, I appreciate that, and I really, it's I've said this everything about Twitch is that every time I talk about Twitch is like I never expect any of this to be a thing. Like I've started streaming and I was just like, okay, I'll try this out. Maybe in a month it'll be over, and I'll just have my fun and disappear. Meanwhile, I'm here 3 years later with everything that's been going on.
Right.
But it's cool that like I don't want to approach it with like a fake attitude or like I've there's points when you like your stream starts growing and you're trying to like develop a brand where it's like, okay, I need to start doing these other things. I need to start
Hmm.
like I need to start because I need to start like directing my stream to something that can be a little more easily like highlighted so we can make more content out of it. And I was really trying to rack my brain and figure out how to do it with RocmSmith, which is my main content.
Right.
But after a while, I'm like, okay, this isn't worth it because I'm now taking the content I like and I'm sort of transmuting it to a point where I'm not enjoying it. So that took me a little while to figure out, but I've pulled away from that. I'm realizing I could do other content that could be made into those highlight videos and those shorts
Hmm.
and all that. And, there's still moments that I'll pull from the Rocksmith, but it was losing its authenticity to go back to the main point. So now
Yeah.
I'm back to just kind of I'll spend 20 minutes like geeking out on anime songs that we're playing
Hmm.
and have a whole discussion with my chat, or I think I've drunkenly and soberly discussed how sewers work like on stream for like
Yes,
half
you.
an hour.
Yes, you have. But again, it's always a good time, and with that, like, oh man, I remember. I think I remember how it was I found you. Like I know the general part, but I think it was. I want to say it might have been. This was back when Legator was doing their behind the tones, and I think they were called something else. I think it was just like the Legator streams or something like that. Back in great day. Now it's like what 20. I think it was like 2020 or something like that,
Just
and
about, yeah.
they got done with one of their streams, and like I was still up and I was like, well, let me see who else is still playing guitar, because on Twitch it's rare to find people playing guitar, especially electric guitar and like rock or metal or anything like that, because a lot of times it's stand-up DJs. And I saw your channel and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and jump into this one. And I was just kind of lurking for a little bit and seeing you play, I was like, oh my goodness, this guy is really good. And then how you got it set up so people can do song requests, you got your own emojis. So I was just like, okay, let's see what's going on here. And it was just a phenomenal experience, and here we are 2 years later. It's insane, dude.
Dude, I know it's the physical. So thank you so much. I'm gonna come. I gotta come here more, man. This is nice. Keep telling that stuff about me. But no, I agree, dude. Like it is crazy. The one thing about the stream that I always try and do is like, if there's some way of making it better or making it stronger or adding something that makes it more efficient. I'm an engineer outside of streaming, so efficiency is my game.
Hmm.
I go for it. And when they dropped the follower emojis, I had my guy make all of them. I said every slot that's full, I'm gonna do it. And every channel per word I can throw in, I'm gonna do it. If anything I could do to make it more interactive and fun and useful, it's great. Because the thing is, it's not new, this whole Rocksmith category and like the whole music category. But as someone, and, it's been going. I mean, it's been going forever. But as someone who's been in it for this long, and it's not even that long, it's 3 years almost. It has exploded since I started. I mean, there have been so many amazing new people coming through with some amazing content ideas, amazing ways of doing the stream that, as even me, I've never thought of doing it these ways. And it's inspiring. Like it's cool to see all these new people just show up and the content and the category do just expand to where we are
Oh
nowadays.
yeah.
I mean, the first Shredfest was like what, 20 people?
Yeah.
Now we're fighting for spots for an entire weekend. Yeah?
And that's awesome. And I want to hit on that, but let's rewind for a second. So at what point did RocmSmith become a thing? Like, was it the inception of the idea versus streaming? Because I know a little bit about the story, but I would like for you to tell the audience like how it was that you got started with it and where you grew to where you are now with the Shredfest.
So, for me personally, the way I found streaming is, before COVID, I mean, still, but before COVID, I was working in office, and I lived like 40 minutes away from my job, so
Ooh.
I had a long commute, and then I had, 9 hours of work, and then back home. So, it was a bit of a day. But the thing I would do after work is I would just play Rocksmith. I would download songs and try and learn them. I used to before streaming knew all of Stream of Consciousness by Dream Theater, but time takes that away from me for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was doing it anyway, and then COVID hit, and I'm working from home. And the one thing I always wanted to do, but I never had a chance because he was always streaming while I was working, was I wanted to be in Matt Hafey's of Trivium stream.
Mm.
Trivium's this band. I'm not sure you know Trivium. They're this band.
You know, those guys.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Like they have like a really good music. There's a couple of them, but I never had a chance to check out Hafey's stream. So because I was working in cubes with people around me, at meetings. But COVID hits, my hours were reduced, and I'm at home. So I have 3 monitors. I dedicate one to drawings, one to specs, and one to Matt Hafey. So I did that, and I kind of knew what Twitch was. I first joined Twitch in 2014 or 2015 for Twitch Plays Pokemon, or 14.
Okay.
Forgot about that account, but we'll get back to that one. That's why it's 34 now. A little bit of technical difficulties, everyone. We come back from those.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, to pick it up, so yeah, I made a Twitch account in 2014 for Twitch Plays Pokemon. Forgot about it, and I basically refound Twitch through Matt Hafey because I'm working from home. I could watch him. So I make a new account. I make what is the account I'm on now, Waffledragon34, which is now across the goddamn world. So Hafey, I watch his streams. I love his stuff. And then I found out because he would raid into every now and again Chainbrain, Young Gun, Pizza Vibes. And I'm like, wait, people are playing Rocksmith on Twitch? That's a thing you do? And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I gotta try this, right? And I got nothing else I'm doing. I'm playing Valorant for like 8 hours a day after work, so I might as well not do that, do something else. So at this point, though, the hard part was I didn't know how streaming worked. I didn't know what OBS was. And I didn't have a webcam. So I'm like, all right, I'll just figure it out. So I start Googling, start figuring out how OBS works. I deal with like setting up my interface for like 2 days. And for the webcam, and I tell this to everyone, if you're trying to stream out there, just start. Because I started using my phone mirrored in OBS.
Wow.
It worked, yeah.
Man.
But the best part was it was I didn't have a phone stand, so I had solo cups that I put a like a tripod on and just put the phone on there.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
There's a photo on my I think Instagram of that setup from like years ago, and it is the most scuffed thing ever.
I'll be sure to put that in here.
I'll send it to you. It's amazing, but I just started, and luckily that was right before Twitch popped off, and everything was going like people were going to Twitch because they had nowhere else to go.
Yeah,
and it was just, again, I went into it thinking, okay, I'll do this, and like maybe my friends will come by, maybe I'll like get 1 or 2 people, and it'll be kind of fun for a little bit. And then slowly more people showed up, and I had like a couple people like regulars who would come through that I'm still talking to today. I mean, I didn't even have RS playlist, bro. I used to have a piece of paper. I would write down the requests, and then just be like, okay, I didn't write your name down, but who wanted like Crazy Train?
Yeah.
Who wanted that? All right, you're here, not here. All right, bye. And then like it was getting traction. So now my engineer brain was like, okay, maybe I should actually like put work into this. Like actually try. So I found like the main software we all use, RS Playlists and RS Mods and all that. I set that all up. Luckily one of my regulars who's become a mod and a good friend of mine was like, hey, listen.
Are we talking about Bash here?
No, Pybra.
Oh, Viper.
Pybra is the so my friend Play Sports Bar is the OG mod,
Right.
but Pybra is the one who makes all my emotes. He makes all my borders. The dude is an absolute genius. Like
Oh yeah.
since day one, he's like, "Hey, listen, I just enjoy making stuff like this, so I
Nice.
gotcha." He's
Gotcha.
still in the stream. We're still working together. At some point, I'm Pi. If you're watching this, I'm coming to the UK at some point. I don't know when, but I'm coming at some point. We're hanging out, and
Okay.
we're gonna watch the Urasi dub in traditional English. Would be great. But yeah, no, I put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with streaming is it's constantly evolving, which for me is something I love because I hate consistency. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't survive. That's why I chose the field I'm in because it's never the same thing day in and day out. When that happens to me, I just like I lose
Yeah.
focus, I lose like motivation to go for it, and I just give up. So
Mm-hmm.
with streaming, especially in the Rocksmith category, you're getting there's like periods where you get like the same requests. Like I've played Bring Me the Horizon's Kingslayer more than any other song that's started. I think I've played that thing over 100 times because of requests. But even then, like, there's new requests, there's new charts. So I found this like perfect content that I could just dive into and do all these cool new things. On top of that, the community was. I mean, that's the one thing I never expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, the community was just full of people who were just chill and good to hang out with. Hell, I flew to LA this year to just hang out with other streamers in the Rocksmith
Mm-hmm.
category, which is something I would never do before I was a streamer. Like
Yeah.
fly across the states to go meet with people on the internet and you've talked to for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea. But it was fun, man.
And that was something when Immortal Guardian and Power Glove when they're touring through here, and I got to meet up with Josh and Steven Shreds, and it's like again here's some of the bros that I've known for years, and like I get to hang out with them even though for a few hours. Like it's just awesome to do, and again some of this would never have been possible if it wasn't for something like Twitch, and with that like how with your streams again it's always like it's different from a lot of the other ones because a lot of times it's like you go there and it's like all right cool these people can show off their awesome skills and talents, and I already knew like I think after maybe the first week or so of watching it's like okay this dude can play almost anything. And so now it's like the mindset has changed. It's not like I'm not just going to watch you play guitar, but it's like it's more of like a hang out and chill with you whenever I can. And sometimes I throw in requests in there just to see what you think about certain songs. Like that Nita Strauss one. I was like, I wonder if you can pull this one off. So sometimes I'll do that to you just to like kind of throw you for a loop. But it'll be like most of the time it's like a song that I've recently found out. I was like, oh, I wonder if he's heard this. And so that's when I throw my requests in.
Dude, that's the crazy thing too, is like when I first started, I thought like, okay, people are just wanting to hear like the songs and see someone play it. But no, now it's become like you're saying, like it's like almost like a mini reaction night
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, hey, listen to the song and I try and play it. And then, I that's why I do like talk about it a little bit. I still get distracted because it's me and I'm usually on 14 different conversations with everyone in my chat and when I
Mm-hmm.
happen to talking to them. But it's so cool to like it's like I've found songs through Rocksmith I still listen to this day,
I
which is
remember,
insane.
I think it was like late last year, not 2022, but like 21. There was one song I can't remember. It's from As I Lay Dying that like we were playing it or you were playing it, and it was like one night, and I think it was requested like 3 or 4 times, and it was just like oh my goodness.
I think I know which one you're talking. I think it's the one with the squeals that you have to do like 8 times, like per section.
Let me
I
see
can't
if I can
remember.
find it real quick. I'll put
But
it
I know
in
which
the
one you're
B
talking
roll.
about. Yeah, go for it. And, all right, when
Let's see.
you're now listening to As I Lay Dying's track.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, you have that's the thing. You have those moments, and like I've like it's cool because again, like it's music that it's music that I've never heard, and maybe someone in chat's never heard. So
Blinded.
now they go home. I was blinded.
Blinded, yeah.
Yes.
So Blinded was like requested. I think it was like 3 or 5 times one night, and it was just like, oh my goodness.
Hmm.
But oh man, so your new schedule. So again, people can find you at twitch.tv/Waffledragon34. Your new Twitch schedule. What's it looking like for 2023?
So for 2023, again, it's my first schedule change in almost 2 years now, and I did it simply because I'm trying to change things up this year. So typically, so the new schedule is now Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Will be RocmSmith request, open request. You guys come through, request it. Wednesday is gonna be my kind of like variety day. So typically it's gonna be like reaction nights where we watch like YouTube music videos together. Maintenance streams, which I've been having a lot of fun with, which is like a mini reaction night, but also I fix my guitars, so we can talk about that. And then some other things I'm not going to talk about yet.
Oh,
Some coming
secret.
through.
Oh man.
Make sure you check your inbox by church later.
Oh, okay.
A couple months.
Gotcha.
A couple months because I'm still working on it. And now Saturdays will be a combination of RocmSmith with other content going in and out. So that's going to kind of be like the experimental day and the traditional classic day where I'll still do RocmSmith sometimes. I'll also do some new concept ideas that come through.
Nice. And with RocmSmith, again, kind of like going back to your love for video game music and all that, was that also like a conscious decision on like how you decided to design your background? Because again, you got, the Swole Mander coming in. We got the Sonic chilling out in the back. I still remember when one of my boys was like, "Daddy, look, Sonic."
So I wasn't living in this house when I started streaming. I moved here a couple months afterwards. And at that point, I kind of knew like I was going to be a continual streamer as my life goes on. So I wanted to have a room dedicated to streaming. So this is I work from here because I still work from home, but this is the stream room. So I've got my lighting set up. I've got everything else. But the thing is, I wanted a cool background. So I was kind of between. Yeah. So I was kind of between like hanging the guitars on the wall and like having that kind of setup. But I saw that a lot. I also realized I forgot to put a light on today, so whoops.
All good.
Didn't even about that one. We'll just take that in post. You have video. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. But because there is a light that like
I'll
makes
put
this
like
whole
a little
background
sun shine. Like right over one, right there. I'll put like a little sun or something like that.
It's blinding.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I wanted like I was like, all right, you know what? I was watching other people stream, like, all right, everyone's got like the guitar rack. They have the thing behind them. And I already had the guitar rack. I already kind of saw this as like the guitar rack section. All right, what do? I have a bunch of posters I could set up. But it was like, you know what? I have so much like nerd stuff that I could build like Mount Nerdmore back here, which also the chair is kind of in the way.
Love it.
But I've got like my whole Nintendo Power collection. I've got all my Gundam models, an entire Pokemon and anime shelf. So I've just built this up to be like the nerd thing. And honestly, I get a couple people being like, "Is that like a master grade for Ka back there?" And I'm like, "Hey, how did you see that?" Because that's that one with the shield right there. I don't know if you can see that stuff. But I want something kind of like different to really pop out that like, yeah, this is a guitar stream, but also it could be something else.
Yeah.
And then I going.
Yeah, it's not so super one-dimensional. Now, you mentioned Gundam, obviously. What's your favorite Gundam series?
I'm going to get hate for this. Make sure you're killing me, because now I'm going to get so much hate for this.
I know that there's like a lot of different ones, and I haven't seen all of them.
So, for any of my Gundam fans watching this right now, I'm so sorry, but G Gundam is one of my favorite things of all time. G Gundam is it's kind of like, it's not really connected to anything, and it's basically just a giant tournament arc, and it's so stupid and dumb and fantastic and great, and the main character's kind of an but like he's fun, and like all the Gundam designs are stupid, but they're also amazing. It's just one of those shows that like you'll just hop into a random episode and be like, oh, dumb one's being a jerk. All right, well, here we go. Let's see what he does again.
G Gundam, that's the one where they are like they got the suits inside the cockpits and stuff like that. Dude, that's my second favorite one.
No, shoot, really?
Yeah, I really like the story, and like it was just different. Not everyone's just like moving the arms back and forth. It was just different to see that creativity. Again, we're talking about art and stuff like that, and that was something I've never seen before. Like even if you go through like the Power Rangers and stuff like that, like they're always like sitting down. So it was cool to see something different where they're actually like inside the cockpit, like actually trying to fight, with these suits and whatnot. I don't remember the whole main story because it's been such a long time. But yeah, that's one of the top ones.
Oh yeah, dude, and they play with it too because they have like the kid like accidentally sneak in and get into the Gundam and he can't control it. Like it's not just like Like it's a very like if you're a Gundam fan, like it's not as intense as the other ones, but it's got its like quirks that make it like fun to do and everything, you know?
Oh yeah. I think that like and these I would say that that's my second favorite one, but like it also like interchanges because like my top three and the top one like changes depending on like where I'm at. But
Hmm.
it'd be the OG Gundam Wing series, G Gundam, and Gundam 00, which was a short series,
Ooh.
but it had one of my favorite characters of all time, which was Lock On. Um, I can story about that later. But yeah, and again, like when you think about also the music that drove those series as well, like it had so much emotion and punch to it that again, like people overlook it because like, oh, it's anime, but it's like, have you heard the music that goes with this series? Like it's phenomenal.
Oh, dude, yeah, they're beautiful. I mean, even just like the little themes during the show are just god tier. It's insane.
And so like with that, we were talking about Shredfest. Walk me through your experience from like the first Shredfest because we're up to what, like 6 now, I think.
And or
No,
we're going to 11 this next one.
11. Oh, all right. I'm behind the power curve on that one. That's my fault. So walk me through like how has your experience been with the Shredfest? Because I believe like each year you've kind of like either done one of the same artists like maybe once or twice a year, but you've also changed it up throughout the years. And how have you seen it from its inception to where it is now?
So I got lucky with Shredfest. I found out about the community and this event at right before the second one happened, which the second one was kind of like the transition point from like, okay, we're just like slowly getting it figured out what we're doing to like, this is a weekend event. We have a website. We have
Mm-hmm.
this, all of this thing. So I missed out in the second one, but the third one I hopped in and I had a blast. It was like I look forward to like the Shredfest weekends and everything else all year, which we have like multiple different events and everything. It's fun because like when it started out, you know, I missed the second one, but I remember like hearing about it and learning about it through like people streaming it and everything. And it was like it was good, you know, everyone had their moments and stuff like that. But then the third one was where it really just became this like it's I can't really I don't have the words to make it the like how cool it was because not only is it the Shredfest event, which by the way, for everyone who doesn't know, Shredfest is a weekend long event held by us in the RocmSmith community where everyone takes an hour and does a set of their favorite band. So I've done one, two, three, four, five. So I've done six so far. At a count. I have all the set list on the back of my door.
Nice.
Um,
I think I saw an Instagram post of that one time.
yeah, yeah. That's that all those. But so I've done a bunch. You basically just take an hour and then you raid into the next person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the blast because like not only is that happening, but we're also some of us are a good chunk of us are usually in the Discord too, like hanging out and like watching the sets and like talking. We've done like tier lists now and like just hang out. It's just so much fucking fun. But as the Shredfests have advanced, as like you know, I started at 3, and then it keeps going from there. Um, they just keep getting better and better. You know, we've developed a website where you can see the fest live, and you can find out based on your time zone
Mm-hmm.
who's playing, which is awesome. We've also done charity for it now. Like now, every Shred Fest, we collect donations, and we've helped St. Jude. We've done Center for Suicide Awareness. We've done I should know more, but like every one of them has a charity attached to it now, which is cool because there's been an not really an offshoot, but another raid event that's
Mm-hmm.
spawned from our community called the Relay 4, and it's like Relay for
Oh,
Rights, Relay
yeah,
for
that's right.
Save,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, which have raised an insane amount of money. I mean, it's dwarfed the Shredfest at this point, but through 2 events, I think we've raised, and if the people are here, I'm sorry, I'm messing this number up, but I think it's $40,000 for 2 different charities.
Nice.
It's absolutely insane, and those again, just relay raid events that keep going, and it's just so much fun. But
And
the
if I
you're
remember
going.
correctly, I think it was our mutual friend Venom Hammer who was the one who originally started the Shred Fest. And Venom, if you're still around, bro, we miss you. Gotta talk to you
Yeah,
sometime soon, bro. But
yeah.
yeah, so
No, go on.
no, you're good.
All right. Yeah, Venom was the one that kind of like brought us all together. He's the one that created Unity and like got the ball rolling for what is now just this insane Twitch group that has honestly just done so much good stuff, man. It's so cool. And even then, now that he's kind of stepped, even though he stepped away a little bit, there's still a solid team of people running Unity and making sure that the Shredfest goes smoothly. Everyone's having fun. If people have any questions or anything, we have a Discord server about that could help out. And it's just so cool. I'd say if you, on top of throwing my links, we'd throw the links for Unity too. Like, just throw the website,
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah. Get a little. I've been standing the entire time, so I'm just gonna pop out at the end. Just gonna like, whoa, hey everyone. This is the end of the podcast or recording.
Oh man. All right. Well, Jake, it has been awesome having you on for episode 3. Great times, people. Again, if you are not viewing this man on Twitch, you're greatly missing out. So again, all the social media links and all that stuff will be down in the description below. Make sure you check them out, subscribe, have a good time, and go check them out on twitch.tv/Waffledragon34. Again, down below. And Jake,
I'm also holding the link right here as the editor is moving it around. It's right there, right there, getting smaller and then bigger as my church cuts this whole thing out.
But again, Jake, thank you again, everyone. Until the next time, we'll see you all in the next video.
Peace out. Thank you for having me, dude. Appreciate it.